So we do have a hearing this afternoon rather, but since we don't have the representative here from zoning at this point, and we have a relatively long BPS agenda, we'll do this in reverse order. So let's handle the business agenda, and then we'll go back to the hearing. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Here.
Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Moore.
Here.
Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here, we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting in order.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8664 for the reconstruction of runway 12L through 30R, outer panels from taxiway Lima to taxiway Juliet, replace runway 12L through 30R electrical circuits, rehabilitate taxiway Kilo within the runway 12L through 30R safety area at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Preliminary approval for letting number 8658, 2018 concrete roadway spot slab repairs, St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Transportation Alternatives Fund Program Agreement between the City of St. Louis, Missouri, and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Hall Street reconstruction from East Grand Avenue to Adelaide. Recommends approval. From the President and Directors of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that permit for Great Rivers Greenway for public improvement, providing more electrical capacity at existing street light pole receptacles along riverfront from 316 North Lenore K. Sullivan Boulevard to 698 South Lenore K. Boulevard. Recommends approval subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits for AT&T be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Starting at existing manhole at 7,000 Chippewa, bore 875 feet before continuing into St. Louis County right-of-way. Place 8 feet by 24 count fiber from existing handhold 42A at the front of 4901 Botanical to the north, exiting city right-of-way at the north right-of-way boundary. Starting from manhole near 6615 Manchester, bore 762 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 handhold at 6691 Manchester. From new handhold, dig 5 feet to the new pad with fiber distribution box. Also from new handhold, bore 3 fibers 43 feet to riser pole at 6644 Gardner. Also from handhold, bore 1 fiber 767 feet to riser pole at 6615 Manchester. Starting from existing manhole at Virginia and Primm, place 1,719 feet of fiber in existing duct run to manhole at Virginia and Steins. From manhole near 7527 Virginia, bore 1,010 feet to new handhold at 7628 Alabama. Then dig 6 feet to new 4 by 4 pad with fiber distribution box. From new handhold, bore 90 feet to riser pole at 7629 Vermont. Bore 257 feet between 2 poles along Idaho and Alaska Park from pole at 7621 Alaska. Bore 432 feet to riser pole at 7621 Tennessee. From existing manhole at 1037 South Taylor, bore 160 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhold at 4501 Gibson. From this handhold, dig 6 feet to new 4 by 4 pad with fiber box. From handhold at 4501 Gibson, bore 3 fibers 115 feet to rise pole at 1015 South Taylor. From handhold at 4501 Gibson, bore 1 fiber 592 feet to rise pole at 923 South Taylor. From pole at 4309 Shoto, bore 123 feet to rise pole at 921 South Boyle. From manhole near 3166 Shenandoah, bore 290 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhold at 2323 South Compton. From handhold, dig 5 feet to a new 4 by 4 pad with fiber box. From handhold at 2323 South Compton, bore 59 feet to rise pole at 3202 Shenandoah, at pole at 2645 Minnesota. Place a new pedestal with terminal at base of pole. From this ped, bore 38 feet to new ped/terminal combo at 2644 Michigan. For manhole near 730 Holdemont, bore 27 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole at same address. From handhole, dig 3 feet to new 4 by 4 pad with fiber box. From handhole at 730 Holdemont, bore 331 feet to rise pole at 5989 Delmore. From pole at 5904 Enright, bore 537 feet to rise pole at 5900 Delmore. From pole at 5958 Delmore, bore 483 feet to rise pole at 5937 the Giverville. From manhole near 3150 Sublet, bore 169 feet to a new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole at 5505 Connecticut. From handhole, dig 6 feet to new 3 by 3 pad with fiber box. 2 slabs of sidewalk would be needed to cut and restore for bore pit and digging of fiber between box and handhole. From handhole at 5505 Connecticut, bore 1 fiber 396 feet to rise pole at rear of same address. From handhole at 5505 Connecticut, bore 1 fiber 993 feet to rise pole at 3202 Regal. From pole in easement at 3271 Macklin, bore 263 feet to rise pole at Macklin. Starting from existing manhole near 3558 Crittenden, bore 855 feet to new handhole at 3456 Crittenden, then dig 6 feet to new 3 by 3 pad with fiber distribution box. From new handhole, bore 2 fibers 88 feet to riser pole at 3504 Crittenden, and bore 1 fiber 89 feet to riser pole at 3504 Crittenden. Starting from existing manhole near 3020 Park, bore 246 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 handhole at 3115 Park, then dig 6 feet to new 4 by 4 pad with fiber distribution box. From handhole at 3115 Park, bore 15 feet to riser pole at same address. From pole at 2900 Caroline, bore 281 feet to riser pole at 2831 Park. From pole at 2900 Hickory, bore 317 feet to riser pole at 1120 Montrose. Starting from existing manhole at 5820 Eichelberger, bore 208 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 handhole at same address. Then dig 6 feet to new 3 by 3 pad with fiber distribution box and place protective bollards. From new handhole, bore 98 feet to riser pole at 5409 Hampton. Starting from existing manhole at 4401 Compton, bore 834 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 handhole at 4249 Michigan. Then dig 8 feet to new 3 by 3 pad with fiber distribution box. From new handhole, bore 951 feet to riser pole at 3152 Osceola, then bore 2 fibers 526 feet to riser pole at 3217 Osceola. Starting from existing manhole near 4195 Bergen, bore 948 feet to new 2 by 3 by 3 handhole at 4107 Bergen. Bore another 592 feet to a new 3 by 5 by 3 handhole at 5623 Lenore, and then dig 6 feet to new 3 by 3 pad with fiber distribution box. From the handhole at 5623 Lenona, bore 1 fiber 243 feet to riser pole at 4058 Bates, and bore 1 fiber 261 feet to riser pole at 5643 Lenoa. Starting from existing manhole at South Vanderveer and Utoni, bore 1,005 feet to new 2 by 3 handhole at 4326 Detoni, bore 870 feet to new 3 by 5 by 3 handhole at 4221 Shaw. Then dig 6 feet to new 3x3 pad with fiber distribution box from handhold at 4221 Shaw. Bore 751 feet to riser pole at 4302 Detoni. Starting at existing manhole at 8400 Virginia, bore 1,355 feet to new 3x5x3 handhold at 8221 Minnesota. Then dig 6 feet to new 4x4 pad with fiber distribution box and place bollards. From new handhold, bore 277 feet to riser pole at 210 West Davis, and bore 1 fiber 259 feet to riser pole at 8221 Minnesota. Also from handhold at 8221 Minnesota, bore 1 fiber 597 feet to riser pole at 412 Davis, and bore 1 fiber 986 feet to riser pole at 500 Poping. From pole at 500 Poping, bore 393 feet to riser pole at 505 Poping. Dig a pit in front of 6201 Famous and 6141 Eveline. Access splice pit at the front of 1913 Hampton and bore cable 195 feet east, then 225 feet north, and then 75 feet east across Hampton to customer conduit. Starting at existing manhole at 7240 Gravois, bore 1,613 feet to new 3x5x3 handhold at 4696 Alameda. Then dig 6 feet to new 4x4 pad with fiber distribution box. From new handhold, bore 8 feet to riser pole at same address, and bore 67 feet to riser pole at 7242 Mays. From pole at 4730 Alameda, bore 103 feet to riser pole at 4801 Austria, and bore 222 feet to riser pole at 4739 Alameda. From pole at 7250 Gravois, bore 688 feet to new 2x3x3 handhold near 7203 Gravois. Then bore 986 feet to riser pole at 4916 Sunshine. From pole at 7320 Gravois, bore 505 feet to new 2x3x3 handhold, then bore 505 feet to new 2x3x3 handhold, bore 133 feet to riser pole. Starting at existing pole at front of 4300 South First Street, bore north on First Street for 447 feet. Place a new 2x3x3 handhold, then bore 11 feet east and meet up with customer-owned conduit going into 4300 South First Street. Starting at existing manhole at front of 3600 North 9th Street, bore east on Mallinckrodt for 356 feet. Then turn and bore 15 feet south to inner side of building at 3529 North Broadway. AT&T will start at existing AT&T manhole located at the side of 804 Lebanon. This is now a private driveway, but was the now vacated Paul Street. From this manhole, bore north across Lebanon for 144 feet. Turn and bore west at the back edge of sidewalk for 236 feet, where AT&T will place a new 2 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet handhold in the sidewalk. From the new handhold, bore north down South 9th Street at the back edge of the sidewalk for 172 feet. Then turn and enter the private property at the side of 1022 South 9th Street. A fiber cable will be direct buried in the city of St. Louis right-of-way for 552 feet. One new 2x3x3 feet handhold will be placed. Start at existing manhole located at the corner of Gravois and Delore, front 4914 Gravois. From this manhole, place a new fiber cable in an existing conduit 136 137 feet east down Delore to an existing AT&T handhole. From this handhole, bore south down the alley for 133 feet, and then turn and bore west for 10 feet before entering the private property at the side of 4914. AT&T contractor to dig a 3x4x4 pit in the west right-of-way at the front of 1699 North Jefferson Avenue to deactivate AT&T 50-pair copper cable. Cross Street is Madison Avenue. Start from existing AT&T handhold at the rear of 4615 Oregon and bore and place one fiber cable 3 feet off edge of pavement in the alley north for 103 feet, turning east on Nebraska Avenue 4 feet off edge of pavement for 481 feet, crossing Oregon Avenue and South Broadway, going into customer property at 4600 South Broadway. Joint recommendation that permit for a charter be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Starting at utility pole at the southwest corner of 733 Vandevender on the north side of Gratiot, Spectrum will travel 50 feet south, crossing under Gratiot Street, then turn 90 degrees east and travel 140 feet along the south side of Gratiot and cross under Vandevender, stopping at the southwest corner of 800 Vandevender. Here, Spectrum will place a vault in the sidewalk for future use and to currently new business service to 800 Vandevender, Dave Mason and Associates. From existing charter vault next to 915 Bill, charter would like to bore west 600 feet and set a vault in the sidewalk. Then bore 400 feet and place a vault in the sidewalk. Charter would then like to bore south 600 feet, placing a vault in the sidewalk. At this point, Charter would like to bore 600 feet east, placing a vault in the sidewalk. Charter then would like to bore 600 feet, placing a vault in the sidewalk next to 711 North Grand Avenue, starting at 915 Bill, ending at 700 North Grand. Total footage is 2,800 foot. All fiber to be placed in a 2-inch duct fiber count will be 72 counts. Starting at existing charter manhole at the intersection of St. Charles and 14th, Charter would like to bore 500 feet south to the existing charter manhole on 14th Street, north of Olive Street. Charter would then like to bore west 150 feet to private property at 310 North 15th Street. Starting at existing charter vault in front of 2500 Abbott Place, Charter would like to bore south 500 feet, placing a vault in the sidewalk in front of 6780 Southwest. Then bore east 300 feet, placing a vault next to the power pole. Charter would then like to set a vault in the sidewalk next to the power pole in front of 6740 Southwest and bore north 100 feet into private property at 6701 Southwest. Starting at power pole in front of 2811 Clark, Charter would like to set a vault in the sidewalk and bore west 500 feet. Then bore 30 feet west to 30 feet west to 301 South Ewing, starting at 2811 Clark, ending at 301 South Ewing. Total footage would be 530 feet. All fiber to be placed in a 2-inch duct. Fiber count would be 72 count. Starting at existing charter manhole at 10th and Washington, Charter would like to bore 300 feet north and place a vault in the sidewalk. Then bore west 150 feet and place a vault in the sidewalk in the rear of 611 North 10th Street. Then bore to the building at 611 North 10th, starting at 1023 Washington, ending at 611 North 10th Street. Total footage 550 feet. All fiber to be placed in a 2-inch duct. Fiber count would be 72 counts. Starting at power pole in the rear of 2009 Herbert, Charter would like to set a vault in the sidewalk and bore east 700 feet, placing a vault in the utility easement. Then bore 500 feet east, placing the vault in the utility easement, then bore 300 feet, placing the vault in the utility easement in the rear of 3017 North 13th Street. Starting at the power pole in the rear of 3013 Merrimack, Charter would like to set a vault in the utility easement, then bore 150 west, placing the vault in the sidewalk. Charter would then like to bore 350 feet south, placing the vault in the sidewalk, then bore 100 feet west to 3112 Merrimack. Starting at power pole in front of 4344 McCree, Charter would like to set a vault in the sidewalk, then bore 300 feet west, placing the vault in the sidewalk. Charter would then like to bore to the west 75 feet across South Vandervender, placing the vault in the sidewalk. Charter then would like to bore south 200 feet, placing the vault in the sidewalk in the rear of 1565 South Vandervender. Starting at 4344 McCree, ending at 1565 South Vandervender. Total footage, 575 feet. All fiber to be placed in a 2-inch dunk. Fiber count would be 72 counts. Due to an MSD repair project, Charter Spectrum will be required to relocate area fiber and coax underground. Charter Spectrum will be doing a 4-inch bore to place fiber and coax underground, starting in the southwest alleyway beside 546 Poping Street, then going north across Poping into the alleyway beside 533 Poping, ending behind 533 Poping to equal a total distance of 581 feet. Charter Spectrum will be required to add underground duct, node, fiber, and coax due to the growing population in this area, causing node congestion and service issues for existing customers. The 4-inch bore will begin on the north side of Wise in front of 5730, going west to the northeast corner of Oakville Place, then going east, ending in front of Cortona at Forest Park at 5800 Highland Plaza Drive. Joint recommendation that the following permits for MCI access be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Beginning at 6369 Manchester, pull fiber 1,950 feet west through existing conduit, 2-inch HDPE pipe to be placed for fiber cable starting at 6600 Manchester. Bore west 1,652 feet along the south side of Manchester, then 85 feet across the north side of Manchester at 6823. Then bore 862 feet west to McCausland, ending just west of 6935 Manchester. Bore and place 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhold located near 1010 North 10th Street. Bore west, placing new conduit and fiber heading west for 780 feet. At this point, place a new handhold located near 100 North Tucker. Continue placing west for 660 feet. Then turn south and continue for 406 feet, placing a new handhold located near 1412 Dr. Martin Luther King, etc. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhold located near 910 North 11th Street. Place fiber in existing conduit heading east for 490 feet to existing handhold located at 9th Street and Cole. From this handhold, continue placing fiber in existing conduit north for 1,130 feet to new proposed handhold located across street at 1300 North 9th Street. From this handhold, place cable in existing conduit heading north for 975 feet to existing handhold located near 900 Cass Avenue. From this existing handhold, bore and place new conduit and fiber east for 1,140 feet to existing manhole located just north of 1440 North Broadway. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber starting at existing manhole located on the east side of 1901 Shoto. Place fiber through existing conduit and manholes heading south for 1,300 feet to new handhole to be placed on the north side of 1740 Shoto. From this new handhole, continue placing through existing conduit and handhole east for 1,300 feet to new handhole located at 1401 Shoto. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhole located on the west side of 1000 Mississippi. Place fiber in existing conduit and manholes heading west for 2,520 feet to new handhole. Place at 2660 Shoto. From this new handhole, bore and place new conduit for fiber south for 875 feet. At this point, continue east for 430 feet to new handhole to be placed near 2620 Rucker. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhole located near 1740 Shoto. Place new fiber through existing conduit and manholes heading west for 997 feet to new handhole to be placed near 1000 Mississippi. From this new handhole, bore and place new fiber and conduit south for 1,340 feet to new handhole located across street from 2001 Park. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber. Place new handhole located near 205 South Vandervender. From this new handhole, bore and place new conduit and fiber north for 675 feet to existing manhole. From this manhole, pull fiber through existing conduit heading north 720 feet to this point. Place a new handhole located near 11 South Vandervender, etc. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber. Place new handhole located in the rear of 736 South Broadway. From this point, place new fiber in existing conduit and manholes heading south for 830 feet to existing manhole near 501 Shoto. From this manhole, continue placing west for 370 feet. To this point, place new handhole located near the northeast corner of 1007 South Broadway. From this new handhole, bore and place new conduit and fiber south for 450 feet to new handhole located at 601 Hickory. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhole located near 2660 Shoto. Place fiber through existing conduit and handholds heading west for 2,075 feet to new handhole located in the front of 3049 Shoto. From this new handhole, bore and place new conduit and fiber south for 924 feet to new handhole located near 3034 Rucker. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at existing manhole located west of 4400 Clayton. From this manhole, bore and place new conduit and fiber heading north for 260 feet. To this point, turn east and continue placing east for 1,200 feet to ending near south side of 4353 Clayton. 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at new handhole located at 3034 Rucker. Bore and place new conduit and fiber south for 320 feet. To this point, turn and continue placing west for 1,030 feet to new handhole located at 3302 Caroline. From this new handhole, continue placing west for 800 feet. To this point, continue south for 620 feet. To this point, Place New Handhold located near 1446 South Teresa, etc. Place new handhold at the base of existing utility pole located at 4601 McCree. Bore and place 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at existing manhole located near 2350 Market. From this manhole, bore and place new conduit and fiber heading south for 900 feet. From this point, turn and continue west for 360 feet to at this point, place new handhold located near 2801 Clark. 1 2-inch conduit and handholds for new fiber, starting at 6215 Wells. Place new conduit along Wells, heading east for 1,500 feet. At this point, place a new handhold at 1453 Hamilton. Then continue east for 1,400 feet. At this point, place a new handhold at 1453 Shalmut Place. Then continue east for 1,400 feet. At this point, place a new handhold at 5561 Wells. Then continue east for 1,300 feet. At this point, place a new handhold at 5389 Wells. Then continue northeast for 720 feet. At this point, turn east and continue 758 feet, ending at rear of 5325 Dr. Martin Luther King. Joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. St. Louis University, by means of directional drilling and trenching, place 1 2-inch HDPE duct approximately 393 feet for a new fiber optic cable. Duct will be placed at a minimum depth of 3 feet and will be in compliance with national electrical codes and local ordinances. Beginning at the existing SLU handhold 80 feet east of the east curb line of 18th Street going west approximately 137 feet, then turning north approximately 256 feet north on the existing zero handhold at 1831 Chestnut Building. XDNet Systems, Inc. Start at St. Louis City boundary on the west side of Eastgate Avenue, 701 Eastgate, and continue south for approximately 105 feet, then turn west on the north side of Enright for approximately 50 feet to St. Louis City boundary on the north side of Enright. Joint recommendation that the following permits for Union Electric Company doing business as Ameren, Missouri be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Install 8 5-inch plastic concrete encased conduit on the east sidewalk of 8th Street, south of the intersection of 8th and Walnut. Approximately 98 feet of conduit will be installed in the right-of-way with the open cut trenching being done. Sidewalk will be replaced. And set 45 feet pole for new construction at 2500 North Spring. From the Director of Streets. Recommendation that permit for Gate District East Neighborhood Association to encroach with banners on 5 poles at Jefferson Park, Jefferson and Shoto, Park and Montrose, Lafayette and Compton, and Lafayette and Teresa be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Safety. Recommendation that the following festival zones be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Deaconess Center for Child Wellbeing Community Fair at Bell between Vandervender and North Spring, April 21st, 2018. And Four Hands Lupin Carnival, Union Station and 20th from Market to Eugenia on May 19, 2018. Uncorked Wine and Jazz at Keener Plaza and Market on June 1st through 2nd, 2018. Shakespeare in the Streets, Olive Street between 13th and 14th. This is a redo from the last year. This event was overrun by civil unrest following the Stockley verdict June 15 through 16, 2018. Temple Church of Christ on Dayton between East Elliott and North Leffingwell, west side, and Leffingwell between Dayton South and Alley north of Gamble on July 21st, 2018. St. Louis African American Artifacts Festival and Bazaar, 14th between St. Louis and Warren, Montgomery between 13th and Blair, and Warren between 13th and Blair on August 18, 2018. Now we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Terrell Island, zoning plan examiner for the City of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 6 applications, and they are 5032 Louisiana, 3854 Missouri Avenue, 3182 South Grand Boulevard, 3825 Watson Road, 8319 Halls Ferry, and 31, let me just make sure I got the address right now. 3017 Lafayette. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted. Are there any questions about this?
Questions from the board on the conditional uses?
Motion. Excuse me, Mr. President. Motion to approve the conditional uses. Second.
Moved and second for approval of conditional uses. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes?
Aye.
Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Moore?
Aye.
Director Edwards? And President Bradley.
Aye, conditional uses are approved. We'll go ahead and handle the hearing, and then we'll come back to the minutes, agenda, and adjournment. Hearing number 8123 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Quick Shop 1 Market LLC, CO Ibrahim M. Esha, to occupy a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The conditional use permit is numbered as 121063. The conditions in questions are as follows. Condition 2, no outdoor storage or display of items allowed. Condition 3, all signage must have a permit approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator. Condition 4, the applicant shall provide a concealed commercial dumpster for which he will establish trash removal contract through a private source, schedule for regular pickups, and maintain the entire premise in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. And condition number 7, no off-premise or temporary signs, payphones, and soda vending ATM or ice machines shall be displayed on the outside of the premise. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all the evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the Board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the Board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to this Board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this Board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the Board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the Board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The Board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 121063, issued to Quick Shop 1 Market LLC, CO Ibrahim M. Esha, to occupy 4478 Natural Bridge as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a letter dated October 13, 2017, and a corrected warning letter dated November 13, 2017, sent to the then current holder, Quick Shop 1 Market LLC, CO Ibrahim Esha, from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of the conditions that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of this letter. Item 4, a memorandum dated December 27, 2017, from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon that date, the zoning inspector found violation of condition numbers 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of the said violations. Item 5, public notices for today's hearing. And item 6, a certified letter dated January 16, 2018, sent to the conditional use permit holder from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. The board asks the representative of the Office of Zoning Administrator please come forward and be sworn in.
So help me God. My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the city of St. Louis.
Can you please tell the board about your investigations?
My investigation this morning, there was still temporary signage up on the building that did not have a permit. There was temporary signage on the door, and the trash dumpster was not concealed. There was a piece of fence there, but it was still not concealed.
So at this time, we are still in violation of condition 3, 4, and 7, correct?
Yes, sir.
Questions from the board for the zoning inspector? Thank you very much. The board asks a representative from the Department of Health please come forward and be sworn in.
My name is Adam Wario, and I'm from Department of Health Food Control Section, and we have 2 permits for this facility at 4478 Natural Bridge Avenue. One permit is for carry out, and the other permit is for grocery. And both permits are current and will expire on June 2018. And I'm here to share the inspection report I have for that facility. And the facility, on this facility, the opening inspection was conducted on June 28, 2017. During that inspection, we have not found any critical violations, and the permit application was approved. We again inspected the facility, which is a routine inspection after the opening in October 13, 2017. During the routine inspection, we found 3 critical violations. The first violation was the raw meat was above ready-to-eat food in the refrigerator, which is not allowed by our food code. And the second violation was the glass was cracked in a refrigerator, which is a physical hazard for food. And at the third item was the third critical violation was the evidence of pest. And our inspectors observed that there was a fly flying in the establishment. And then we read those issues with the person in charge at the facility. And then we did a follow-up inspection on October 25th, 2017. And all of those critical items we found in a previous inspection were corrected. And this time there was no critical violations, but our inspector observed there was a ceiling damage in the building, and it looks like there is a leak, but was not leaking at the moment, but there is an evidence that the ceiling was damaged and need repair. And our inspectors discussed that issue with the owner, Abraham. And again, on February 12, 2018, we went back, which is a routine inspection. And there were 2 critical violations we found at the moment. And the facility didn't have a food manager certification, which is critical. And the second is no hepatitis A vaccination record on file. And that were 2 critical violations. And we re-inspected as a follow-up. We followed up on March 12, 2018. And on March 12, 2018, the critical violation we found on previous inspection were corrected, but we also found another 3 critical violations. The first violation was the food that were not in original container, supposed to be labeled according to our ordinance, and those food were not labeled, and you can tell what is inside that container, which is a violation. The second violation was a waste basket in a toilet should be covered all the time, and it was open, it wasn't covered. This was another violation. And again, the ceiling was not repaired when we came back. And the ceiling issue is not a food code, but whenever we see a building which is not a building with a defect, we bring to their attention and so that they repair it to keep the food safe. So we raised that issue again with the owner. That inspection was for a carryout. And the report I have for the grocery is we did the opening inspection on 28th of June 2017. Like the carryout, there was no violation. We approved their application. And then we went back for routine inspection on October 13, 2017. And when we came back, there was no critical violation. But one violation, which is not critical, and best management practice, and the shelves were not clean, and so there was a dust on the shelf. We brought that issue to the owner and told him to clean it. And then we went back for routine inspection in February 12, 2018. We again observed one critical observation, critical violation, which is a basket in a woman's restroom. The waste basket was not covered. It wasn't closed, so it's open. Again, we brought that issue to the owner to correct it. On April 16, 2018, we went back to see the condition of the facility in connection to food control, which is yesterday, and we did not find any violation for carry out and for the grocery. And however, we found a best management practice issues like a towing of fish, and whenever they take fish or poultry raw from the refrigerator, they shouldn't put it on the room temperature, and they should immediately put underwater and tow it. So we brought that issue to management person in charge. And again, the ceiling wasn't repaired. This is what we found yesterday. And we also have a community sanitation report on February 12, 2018. And environmental officer who did that inspection did not did an inspection of the exterior of the building, and he did not find any violation. And we did look at the record of this building, and we did not have any history of complaint. And again, yesterday, today, April 17, 2018, our community sanitation officer went there for an inspection of exterior of the building and did not find any violation, and there was no issue, including trash, odor, pest, and dumpster problem or wastewater. So this is what we have for this building.
Questions from the board for Department of Health? Thank you very much. At this time, if there's anyone else who wishes to testify in support of the revocation or that the noted conditions have not been complied with, please come forward and be sworn in. He's the owner. We're not to you yet. We're not there yet. Just to reiterate the point, if there's anyone else who wishes to testify in support of the revocation, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in.
Abraham Asia.
Please proceed.
Okay, I have the problem about the sign. I already took care of it today, and I took a picture of it. And the dumpster, I built a fence to it, and I have the pictures, which is, there you go, that's for the fence, that's for the dumpster, that's for that sign used to be there, that's for the building, it's everything clean. That's for trash. That's for the door to be have like a Newport stuff in it. And that's the proof of the waste management that I have.
Okay. So the first
That's the old one, I'm sorry.
The first picture, I have a series of pictures here in my hand. The first picture here, is this a picture of the dumpster concealed behind a fence?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I would like to ask this question. So these pictures here are pictures of the outside of your building, correct?
That's before, that's after.
Okay. Before and after?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have permits from the Office of Zoning Administrator approving this after picture?
No.
Okay.
No. But I went to have a permit. This is when I came like 2 days ago, or last week. I have the paper to just put for the zoning. They gave me all this. And they said I have too much signage outside, and I have to take them out. This is the paper they gave me, like the, you know, I don't get the permit yet.
So you're working on getting the permits, is what you're telling me?
Right now, they said I'm not allowed to just put the signage outside because it's too much signage. Too much signage, by the city code, you have to be, I don't know, but I have, this is the only way to just take them out.
Application for a sign permit, okay? So what I'm getting out of this is that of everything that you submitted here today, is that you understand that you are in violation, but you are making an effort to correct that.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the conditional use holder? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
comment on the. Okay, I have the my health license. No, I don't need. I have a copy of it. This one for me, this one for me, and this one for the other guy who worked there, and this one the shots.
Are these copies that we can keep, or do you need them back?
You could keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, you could keep them.
Okay.
And I have a comment. I don't have a women bathroom, and I don't have public bathroom,
Okay.
and nobody ever been inside the bathroom.
Okay.
And when he said I don't cover the trash in the bathroom, or the man bathroom, or the woman bathroom, I don't have a bathroom there.
Okay.
Not a public bathroom. And about the ceiling, I keep changing the ceiling, but every time it's rain hard for a week or 2 weeks, it leaks. It's no hard leak, but a leak. It won't go all the way down, but leave a mark. It'll leave a mark.
So, just to be clear, a conditional use permit is granted to you by this board to operate a business in a neighborhood that the zoning otherwise wouldn't allow for that to happen,
And I'm
right?
trying to just fix
Okay.
everything to not just have a problem. I was here like 2 months ago for the same problem too. Yeah.
And so, you have certain conditions that are on your permit, and I guess my question to you is pretty simple.
Yeah.
Are you willing to work with the city to comply with the conditions?
Always do, yes.
Great. And are you willing to work with the Department of Health to solve whatever issues may or may not be existing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Before we go to the other side of this, I would like to call the zoning inspector back up for just one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
So my question for you is, you know, today's listing of items, there are 3 conditions still in violation. The conditional use permit holder came with a myriad of information here. It looks to me on the outside and talking to him that he's working with the city and interested in working with the city to do the right thing. Is that your observation, or is it something different?
My observation from this morning is what I found. All of the things that the conditional permit holder has brought in was done after I did my inspection this morning.
Okay. So your inspection was done this morning, and these were things that you've noted afterwards. Okay. So
What I found was what was there this morning when I did my inspection.
right.
What he has brought into this board was done after I was out there this
Yes.
morning. So I can't attest to,
I understand. So you were not aware of these items when you did your inspection this morning?
they were not there.
Okay. Any questions from the board from the zoning inspector?
Yes, referring to this picture here, I don't know if you've seen it, Ms. Turner. That's pretty much a clean slate of his building, which I think he termed or deemed after picture. So, in order for him, he please clarify if he leaves his business in that condition there with the facade with no signage, so to speak, he doesn't require a permit. But if in fact he is pursuing to put signs back up, he would then need a permit. Would that be an accurate statement or question?
He already has permits for the signage that's there. He has permit for the awning that's there. So those are not in violation at all. Now, if he puts any other signage on this building, yes, he would need permits for every sign that he would want to put on this building, other than what's already permitted.
Thank you. And what time, just out of curiosity, what time was your inspection today?
9 o'clock this morning.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board? Thank you very much. At this time, the board asks anyone who is opposing this revocation to please step forward and testify.
Sure. Yes, John Muhammad.
Alderman, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President, directors. That was good. I never seen you guys together. This is my first time. You guys look good. No, so currently there is a conditional use where it says no excessive signage on the bar windows of the business. To which I think you guys already have a picture. I want to give it to you again just so you can see. And if there is no signage in that particular area, all you will see is bars. And to me, as a resident and as a constituent, it does not look friendly walking up to an establishment with bars on the windows. I would not go and patronize that business nor spend my money there. So what the business owner has done is he covered up the bars with signage that displays the various options of food that he offers to the community. And I think that looks better and looks more pleasing to the eye than walking up to a bar with windows. So I just left talking to one of the zoning administrators, and we are currently in the process of amending that conditional use so we can allow those mashes to be on the windows. Now, of course, we could just take the bars off, but being realistic, being North St. Louis, that's a safety hazard for his business. So instead of taking the bars off and instead of just having them exposed, he put up these signage to hide them, which I think looks pretty good. And when you look at the picture with the signage composed to a picture without, it's a big difference in the appearance of the business. This business does not sell alcohol. It's a very small community store. It is utilized by mostly everyone in the Penrose and O'Fallon neighborhood. I use it myself. And I think that he is an outstanding business owner. And I would be in favor of having the business as it was with the mashes on the windows covering up the bars. That's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
So just a real quick question for you, Alderman. So in your opinion, you feel like there are some changes that'll probably be made or you're working on them. And at this point in time, you feel like, do you feel like the conditional use permit holder is doing everything in his power to comply?
I do. And yes, an amendment is in the process of changing that conditional use. And I do think he is doing everything he can in his ability to comply.
And it's a good business for your neighborhood?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Questions from the board for the Alderman from 21st? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
If there's anyone else present wishing to oppose this revocation, please step forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, this matter concerning hearing number 8213 is now closed and submitted. This time I'd like to ask the board to turn your attention to our hearing that we just discussed. We heard from the zoning administrator's office. We heard from the Department of Health. We heard from the conditional use holder and the alderman from the 21st. What I understand from this is that the conditional use permit holder was in violation, has been in violation. The zoning inspector inspected this morning, noted the violations. There is some documentation here, and from the discussion with the conditional use permit holder, that they are working with the city to do the right thing. The alderman is working with the conditional use permit holder as well as the zoning department to possibly get some changes to the code. And so it seems to me like there are efforts going in a manner to where it would not be an issue for us if we did not revoke this. I'll open the floor for discussion on that point. Seeing no discussion, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
I move not to revoke the conditional use permit.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, not revoked. I would also like to introduce into evidence two items for the hearing, which would be item A, which would be the zoning inspector's report, and item B, which would be the information provided from the conditional use permit holder. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, take a motion, please.
I move to approve last week's minutes.
Second.
Moved and second for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, the minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and second approval of today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye, today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.